Good morning from Mount Rainier National Park. This is Steve with my hiking buddy Gino.
Morning.
As you saw, we're at the Crystal Lakes Trailhead, one of our favorite early season hikes down here. It is a really chilly morning, Gino. It's cleared off down here. It's got to be low to mid 40s. Wow, brisk. But anyway, we're heading up to Crystal Lakes. Kind of anxious to see this one. 2 weeks ago there were some reports that said the trail is snow free to the lower lake. Lower lake's melted out, but there was still snow between the two lakes, and the upper lake was still snow and ice covered. And since then there hasn't been a real reliable trip report, if you will. And we've seen a picture of the upper lake. It looks like it's melting out a little bit, but we're anxious to see how much snow we're going to run into between the two lakes. We've done this one before in June and have hit snow before, so we're anticipating we'll hit some today. But anyway, one of our favorites, like I said. Hope it's one of yours too. As always, thanks for hiking with us. Well, we reached the first trail junction, 1.4 miles up from the parking lot. That first 1.4 miles is steep, Gino.
Yeah.
And get this, I mentioned earlier how brisk it was. I checked my thermometer on my pack. What do you think it is?
Low 40s?
38. So I put on my gloves and a stocking cap, and Gino's going without. He's a tough guy.
My fingers are still frozen.
His fingers are still frozen. Anyway, next month we're going to go this way, off to Crystal Peak. But today we're heading up this way to Crystal Lakes. So forgot to mention, down in the parking lot there was one car there, and the guy's name is Jack, Gino?
Yep.
Jack comes up to Crystal Peak quite a bit, and Gino's met him and talked to him before. We talked to him last year on our nocturnal visit to Crystal Peak, but his was the only car there, which means there won't be anybody camping at either of the lakes, so we're out of luck for breakfast.
Yeah, unless they came in from the other side.
Oh, well, probably too much snow that way. But anyway, we'll check in when we get up to the lower lake. Fill you in how the conditions are when we get there. Check in a little bit later. Well, we've made it to the junction. Upper Crystal Lake, half-mile off to the left. The lower lake is down here to the right. The upper lake is more picturesque. I'm not going to go down to the lower lake. The big news, there is some snow on the trail down below the lower lake. So there will definitely be snow on the trail as we head off this way in a few minutes. Okay, it's a little before 7:30. Pretty good time to this point. We'll check in up in the snow along the way. Crystal Peak. And we're right at this area where this little creek flows out from under the trail here. Kind of a cool area.
Got some frost up here.
Oh yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, I believe it. Gino mentioned he saw some frost, but so far, trail goes this way. It looks snow free for a while. Keeping our fingers crossed. Okay, we'll check in when we get by the lake. So most of the snow today is small patches like this, about 20 yards long, but it's frozen solid. And I'll take you with me as we approach the lake. Hopefully I don't fall. I'm not using my trekking poles. They've come in handy on this frozen. You can kind of hear my footsteps. And we're back on solid ground, and here's the upper lake. One of our favorites. Quarter to 8, not bad. For two old guys who spent half the time coming up talking about Medicare coverage. Anyway, shoreline covered in snow, but look at this lake. You can understand why I got the name Crystal. It is crystal clear. Right up in there, at that low point, is Sourdough Gap. We've done that hike before. And I'm going to go around the lakeshore here. Still some snow and ice out here, a little ways out. I'm going to turn it off for a second and I'll pick it up here in a minute. A little bit of ice in the middle of the lake and on the eastern shore. So the trail from here, so up at that gap, the low point, trail comes over there and then it heads way over this way almost to that peak there, and then it comes switchbacks down and comes out over here, and that's the trail we've taken on the traverse from Chinook Pass over to here, and we were talking about it on the way down. We're going to do that one again this summer. Point to point, one of our favorite hikes, but Crystal Lake, wow, isn't that nice? Sunshine, partly, some clouds. Gino, my friend, what do you think?
More ice on the lake than I figured.
Yeah. Well, as we like to do, it's time to take a break. We earned it coming up today. Got up here at 7:45, my friend. So we're going to recharge, refuel, have some water, a snack, and we'll check in a little bit. So this is where Crystal Creek, which we crossed at the beginning, starts. Flows out of Upper Crystal Lake right along here, and look at that. Gino, look at that, where that snow is. Creek flows under the snow down here. Boy, I'd hate to go through that. Not good. Well, Gino, my friend, we'll say goodbye to Crystal Lake for now. And we'll be back later this summer, right?
Back when the flowers are out.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to get back over here on the trail and head out. And I'm not going to film here at the beginning because we got these snowfields to traverse, and they are very icy and slick this morning, but they're not too long. So just want to make sure I keep my footing. Okay, we'll check in on the way down. Well, we've cleared the majority of the snowfields, and we've got a few short ones left, but the big ones are done with. So that's good. We didn't fall or slip or trip or anything, so we're on our way down to the lower lake and then back to the cars. It's a little after 8. I was going to mention up at the lakes, we both noticed that our water bottles, to show you how cold it is, our water was colder at the lake than when we started out. So it's like a natural refrigeration up here. It's so cold today. So anyway, I'm standing on a small snow patch here and looking down trail. We'll check in on the way down. Kind of curious to see how many people we see today. Probably very few on this trail, but probably more once we intersect with the Crystal Peak Trail and then from there down. Okay, we'll check in on the way down. Well, we've reached the intersection with the Crystal Peak Trail. It's 8:45, so we're estimating another half hour to the car. As Gino said, we're entering the home stretch, and it's got nice and sunny. Still cool, which is great, because that means no bugs, right, Gino?
Got it.
And we haven't seen anybody yet. We anticipate this section we're going to see some people heading down. So we will count them up, and then we'll check in down below. Tell you what our next adventure is next week. Talk to you in a bit. Well, this is Steve checking in one final time. It's 9:15. We're about 2 minutes out from the parking lot, and the hiker count is 7. All in this last quarter to half mile. We didn't see anybody till we were almost down here, back to the end, and then we've run into 7, a couple pairs and a bunch of solos. But what a great hike, huh? We always like going up to Crystal Lakes early in the year. Like I said, we'll be visiting again later this summer. So a week from today, we're going to be up in the Alpine Lakes Wilderness off I-90 at Annette Lake. We didn't do that one last year. The trail was closed for a lot of repair, and we've seen the trip reports. It looks really nice. It's melted out, so that's good. Won't have any snow to deal with. So check the channel, Hiking Man Steve, and we'll put a video up next week. As always, hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks for hiking with us, and I will end with Crystal Creek. So earlier you saw the start of it, and this is what it looks like down here. Boy, a lot of cars in the parking lot too. Thanks for hiking with us. We'll see you next time.